Hello, in this video we will talk about poems, and for the beginning I want to share the saying by Marilyn Moore. In a poem the words should be as pleasing to the ear as the meaning is to the mind. So what is a poem itself? Let's clarify it. Webster says a poem is a metrical composition, a composition in verse written in certain measures, whether in blank verse or in rhyme, and characterized by imagination and poetic diction. Some poems are very formal and others are more playful. Some are published in beautiful books and others are written on sidewalks. The thing that makes all poems alike is that each expresses the writer's imagination and feelings in a creative way. Think of the poems you have read in the past. Can you remember one of you have enjoyed? Now think of the lyrics of your favorite song. Now consider the following questions. What is the most memorable line of the poem or song? Are the lines grouped in any particular way? Do any of the lines rhyme? So unit goal 1. Text analysis. Analyze a poem's form and structure, including free verse lyric poetry, narrative poetry, ballads, and haiku. Determine the figurative and connotative meanings of words and phrases in a text. Analyze the interaction of elements such as rhyme, repetition, and alliteration. The second goal, reading. Make inferences and connect ideas between texts. Analyze the structure and author uses to organize text. The third goal, writing and language. So here, write an online feature article, choose language to eliminate redundancy, and use commas to separate coordinate conjunctions. The fourth goal is according to speaking and listening. Update an online feature article. Fifth, identify the meaning of foreign words used in English. And now let's get to it. Now we will look through the process of reading the poem. The human brain. So in the left brain, logic, reality, and in the right brain, creativity, emotions. It's divided into two, and each half has its own function. To clarify, when you are looking at big puffy clouds, your right brain tells you, hey, that one looks like a bunny, while your left brain tells you it's a stupid cloud. So which half do you use when studying poetry? Here are a few hints. Poetry requires creativity, emotion, and artistic quality, and logic. So for the left brain, we'll start with the sound devices. Recognizing certain devices used within a poem will give the left brain something to concentrate on. The repetition of sounds at the end of the words. For example, hat, cat, rat, fat. Here is the example by Shel Silverstein. My bird grows to my toes. I never wears no clothes. I wraps my hair around my bear, and down the road I go. The bed. When reading a poem out loud, you may notice a sort of sing-song quality to it, just like a nursery rhyme. This is accomplished by the use of rhyme, rhythm. Rhythm is broken into 7 types. So anapaestic, trochaic, dactylic, monosyllabic, spondaic, and accentual. The first 3 no, 4 points are most used, and the last ones are less common. This identify patterns of stressed and unstressed syllables in a line of poetry, stronger, and one syllable is softer. The length of a line of poetry based on what type of rhythm is used. It is the rhythm pattern in a poem. Each set of syllables is 1 foot and each line is measured by how many feet are in it. The length of the line of poetry is then labeled according to how many feet are in it. And here you can see the sample of the um, song and the poem. Reading this poem out loud makes the rhythm evident, which syllables are more pronounced, which are naturally softer. Examination of this poem reveals that it would be considered iambic tetrameter. Count the syllables in each line to determine the meter. Now try this one. First, count the syllables. Second, divide by 2. Remember these groups of 2 are called feet. Third, label the meter. Fourth, listen carefully to the rhythm. It is a rising rhythm or a falling rhythm. The repetition of the initial letter or sound in a 2 or more words in a line. So let's see what this looks like in a poem we are familiar with. She walks in beauty like the night, with cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellow to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. So here is the cloudless climes with alliteration. Starry skies, so cloudless climes, starry skies. Day denies. These examples use beginning sounds of words only twice in a line, but by definition that's all you need. Words onomatopoeia. So here you can see words that spell out sounds, words that sounds like what they mean. Growl, hiss, pop, boom, crack, and so on. Let's see what this looks like in a poem. So we are not so familiar with yet. Noisy days. Let's have one day for girls and boys when you can make a grandest noises, screech, scream, holler and yell, buzz a buzzer, clang a bell, and so on. Here you can see buzz a buzzer, buzz only. Several other words not highlighted could also be considered as onomatopoeia. Try to find any other. Repetition, using the same keyword or phrase throughout the poem. This should be fairly self-explanatory, but at risk of sounding like a broken record. Which is the repeated keyword or phrase? So time to spend, time to mend, time will eventually shows us the truth. Which is the repeated keyword or phrase? Fairly, obvious. A refrain. Let's talk about a refrain. So usually you can meet them in songs, chorus, the repetition of one or more phrases or lines at the end of a stanza. It can also be an entire stanza that is repeated periodically throughout a poem. Here you can see the example. And simile. A comparison between two usually unrelated things using the word like or as. For example, Joe is as hungry as a bear. So here we are comparing the hunger of Joey to the bear. In the morning, Rhea is like an angry lion. We are making kind of relation between Rhea and lion. I can see the examples of simile here. And next one is metaphor, an implied comparison between two usually unrelated things. Lenny is a snake. Ginny is a mouse when it comes to standing up for herself. The difference between a simile and metaphor is that a simile requires either like or as to be included in the comparison, and metaphor requires that neither to be used, so you don't need to use as or like while giving metaphor. Hyperbole. The most common thing while writing the poems is an exaggeration for the sake of emphasis. Example, I may sweat to death. The blood bank needs a river of blood. Symbol, a word or image that signifies something other than what is literally presented. Imagery, forms of poetry. So here you can see free verse, allusion, and other forms of poetry, narrative, and haiku. By the way, haiku, I wanted to mention about this before. This is a three-like Japanese poem verse form. The first and third lines each have 5 syllables and the second line has 7 syllables. So 575 is kind of a haiku. And another more other forms of poetry, it's lyric, ballads, concrete, limericks, rhyming, and so on. I hope this video was useful. Do not forget to review the things that we mentioned in this video. So finally consider the poem's theme, what is seen, and important things according to the poem. So I'm glad if you found this video useful. See you in our next videos. Goodbye.